Hello everyone.
Yeah, hello guys. I hope so I'm audible.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. So, good morning to all of you. And we will just begin for the session today. The very first thing which I'm just going to do is share my screen. So guys, please inform me once the screen is visible to you.
Yes, skin is video.
Okay. So, like we did the last session, we have just seen that what exactly the use of Redux is and how we can implement a Redux. Okay, we have seen the strategy of Redux. That was the part we have just done in the last session, right? Now we will move forward and we will see the next scenario. So that was regarding our project, that is user project. And we are going to understand that how we can integrate a Saga in this. So there are a couple of things are there which we are going to learn it over here. Okay. And likewise, in the last session, I have used Axios, right, as suggested by you guys. So the same one, I'm just going to use it over here. Again, I'm just going to create the entire new project, okay, which will actually pull everything. I will just create everything from scratch so that we will just able to conclude the Saga part also with this. Okay. Also, in the last session, I have explained you regarding the context. Sorry, not a context. I will explain you regarding the Saga and generator function, not Saga, but generator function. And how to use the generator function. That was the point which I have mentioned it over here. Okay. So let's move forward and quickly just we will start with the part. So like I will not waste much more time. Uh, just we'll move with this. Okay. Fine. That's great. Okay. Yeah, we will just begin for the part. Okay, that's good. So anyone is having any question, any query before moving forward with the topics? Because we are going to start project again from scratch. Okay, I'm just going to install everything. So whatever we have done in the last session, first 15 minutes is going to be the entire recap of it again. But it will be a bit faster because like we have just invest near about 2 hours in the last session regarding the same topic, right? So if you have any question, query, you can just ask me right now. Yes, Aditya, Ankur, Jaydeep, Manish, Neha, any other candidate is having any question, any query?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hi, this is my first class, so I was wondering, are there any class recordings or notes that I can go through?
Yeah, we have the class recording. So if you just
Oh,
go to the Edureka site, okay? Means I don't know
mhm.
exactly how you guys are having the access with the portal, but just I will guide
No,
you.
I just got the access on Friday, and so this is my first class that I'm attending right now.
Okay, no worries. So likewise, we have this portal, okay? We call this as a LMS. Once you log into the portal, just to go to your batch, that is your training program called the React.js training course. And at the very left side, you will see a class recording options there. So you can see like to current total, we have completed 10 classes. So 10 hours, sorry, 5 classes, near about 10 hours we have invested on these topics. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
And have you uploaded the code on GitHub or something from where I can pull
Yeah,
it up?
I have like I think so. I have uploaded the code, but just I will share the repository one more time. And
Yeah,
guys,
thank
if
you.
you have the access to this LMS, okay,
Mhm.
everyone can see this point like 1, 2, 3, 4 till the last one. I can share the code on this one also if you have the access of this. Do you have this
Yeah, I
access?
have. Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so what I will do day wise, I will just share the code over here. Okay. And I've just created separate project and folders. So don't worry about it. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today we are going to move towards the module number 6, that is the Saga module. But we are also going to take a recap of Redux. Okay. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Those who have joined this session as first time, I will highly request you guys that if you are already having a good background of React, then that's great. If you don't have, then it's okay. You just need to go with the foundation of React first. And then you can just go with our topic, okay? The prerequisite for this session is already been defined on the portal, that is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you need to complete HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as the first one. But don't worry, if you don't know JavaScript in a good way, we have taken one session that it was day one, where we have invested our 2 hours in that way only, okay? We have learned JavaScript itself. So moreover, we will just start with the part. Anyone is there who wants to speak something? We have more 1-2 minutes, I will give it, okay? Or shall we start with it? Yes, guys. Any queries, any question, or shall we start? I will highly request to unmute.
Yeah, we can start today's on today's session.
Okay, great. Okay. So now let's move forward and let's view some more things over here. Okay, in this today's session. So in the last session, I have just given you the basic structure that how exactly the Redux works. What is meant by dispatch, action, reducer, and state. Right, everything has been given. Then we have seen a very small program that was right. Redux that was like a simple counter application, and before that we have seen what is meant by single source of truth. Okay, what is exactly the base use of single source of truth? Before that we have seen the routing mechanisms. Okay, also we have seen the JSON server. We have also seen the how to call an API by using the Axios. Okay, so little things were there which we have just seen it over here. And now in today's session we have also seen the agenda that what currently the process we have. Okay, and how we can just rule or how we can just solve this process over here. So there are a couple of things are there which we have seen in the last lecture, and let's move forward. Okay. So for this session, we are going to learn regarding the Redux Saga, a library which is used for API calling with the help of Redux. The reason to use Redux Saga is that Redux is basically a synchronous in nature. Okay, it's a total synchronous in nature. So you will not able to call any type of API with the help of it. Okay. So we will not able to call any type of API with respect to this. Okay, and that is something which we have the flaw with the Redux. So unwantedly, we need to make every time a request with the React, okay? And that is something which is not a relevant one. So that's why we are just going to use a middleware called as a Saga middleware. This Saga middleware, it will take a care of calling an API from the Redux, calling an API from the server and pushing a data in the Redux directly. Then whenever the Redux will get update, it will just call your data and then it will render the process over here. So this is the entire thing which we are going to learn it over here. Okay. So let's start with this. For this, we are going to use one library which is called the Redux Saga. This is very powerful library, and we are just going to learn each and every point it over here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So now let's move forward and let's integrate the application. So for this entire process, I'm just going to create a very fresh and simple application over here. Okay, which we'll call an API, but we are not going to use API directly. So I will just go to under the teaching, we'll go under the Ejureka, where we have our batch. Okay, that was April batch. And here under the React.js, we have just used user app, right? So this was a user app. Just I will rename this one user app with a basic API. Okay, and now we are just going to create one more, which is called the React app with Redux Saga. Thank you. Okay, yeah. So the very first step is that we need to create this project. Okay, so first of all, I will just open this code with VS, this project with VS Code. And this is what we will have with us. Then I will just go with the official site, guys, of Redux, sorry, React. So where we will just bring, develop or we will just create a project from scratch itself. So let me go to the terminal, and in this terminal, yeah, in this terminal, just I will paste it over here and I will remove that my app because the current folder which we are going to use is this one. That's great. So now we need to use two major commands. The first command is for the installation. So I will just say npm I or npm install, which will actually install everything to us, okay, for our project. And the next step is going to be so once the installation is done, then we will move forward with this. It will take near about 50 MB. Okay, and the next step is going to be, I will just say npm run dev, which will actually run my project on port number 5173, which is a standard port of white as a default. So just I will say localhost 5173, and this is our project, right? So now we just need to create a basic skeleton of the project. So again, we will just create some routing. Okay, so I'm just going to create everything for you guys again, so that will help you to understand the things how we have done in the previous sessions also. So to install the package, just I will go with our project with the code. I will open in terminal over here. And in this terminal, I will just use some command for installation. So first command, I will just say npm I react router down. Okay, then I will use a package at the rate Redux.js toolkit. Then we will just install one more package, React Redux. Then we will install Axios. Then also we will install one more package, which is called the React Saga. Sorry, Redux Saga, not React Saga, Redux Saga. Okay, so all of these packages are there, which I'm just going to install it first of all. So you will see all the packages are installed with us, and you will be able to see all are in the dependency over here. Okay. The next step, which I'm just going to do is just we are going to go with the foundation of the project. Now just I can kill this terminal. So I'll go to the SRC, and here just I will first of all I will create one folder called the components. Under this component, just I will create like say users dot JSX. Okay, user post dot JSX, comments dot JSX. Okay, which I'm just going to create it over here. The first step, which is going to be just I will say React functional component with export for app. Then the next is going to be just I will say users React functional component with export for users. Then we'll have the post user post React functional component with export for React one. The last one which we are going to do React functional component with export. This is the one which I'm just going to have it over here. Okay, now let's move towards the next topic. So here we are going to learn the next thing, which is a bit important for us. Comments. I just missed the spell of comments. I'm so sorry. Just I will fix that one. Okay, that's great. So now the next step is going to be to just create a routing. So we will use a router provider for this. This router provider will take a router. So I will just say let router as create browser router. And we will just create an arrow. Just I will say path. Whenever there is going to be a home path, okay. I will also create a header over here. This header.jsx is going to be written by me. So I will just say that there is going to be an unordered list. This unordered list will have li and it will have the nav link. Okay, so I will just say 2 and here just I will say home. And just I will say home over here. Okay, this is the one which I'm just going to use it over here. This is going to be the header, which I will just create one more folder called as a layout. Then I will just say React functional component with export. Here we will call the header. After the header, we will call outlet. Okay, then we will go to the app.jsx. We will just say that I want an element to be layout. This will have children. So it will have a path as an empty path, and this is going to be the element which I need. That is going to be the users. And this is going to be the default one. So just have to say index as true. Okay, in the same way, I will just have comments. So just I will say slash user comments, user post. This will give me the user post. And the last one, which I'm just going to use, is post comment. Okay, and this will be comments. Now, if in between, if there is any other URL, so I'll just say that if there is any unwanted URL is there, so in that case, we will just use a component. So that is called the navigation, navigate to and home. I will just move. So it will automatically move to the navigation over. Oh yeah. So this is something what we have just created. The next step we are going to do, that is going to be a Redux. where we are just going to create a store. So just I will say const store. Where just I will say config store, in which I will have a reducer. Which will be empty object. Just we will say export store. So I'm just going to go in the main.js. Here I will just say provider store. We will just apply this variable to this. Okay, a very simple strategy. So now if I just go to my program and if I refresh the page, I will just remove this CSS. Now if I refresh the page, you will see that the Redux is integrated successfully. So it means that our Redux is working. Okay. Hope so till here everyone is clear, because we have seen this point from past 2 sessions.
Yes.
Okay. Now the next is going to be, we will just have to close everything. Okay. Now let's move forward and let's understand the next concept. Now here we are going to work with the Redux, but before that, we need to understand that what things we want. So for that, I will first of all open this particular project with a terminal. And just I will run the command npm run dev. Or npm start. Start. So you will see my JSON server is running successfully. This is my endpoint which I want, and this is what the APIs I'm having. So you're able to see we have the auth API, users API, post, and comments are there, right? So let's implement it. So these are the different endpoints which I need. I have common base URL. So definitely I'm just going to create some logic over here. Okay. Now, likewise, whenever we are working with the React project, okay, there are multiple ways are there to configure a basic functionality of React project. So I'm just going to go with this particular folder, and here just I will create one more folder called as a Saga, the Redux Saga. Under this, I will just say base URL. I will create a file like say config.jsx, and this will have export export const base URL, and my base URL is going to be this one. Okay, this is going to be my base URL which I want to use it only. Now the next, let me save this one. Okay, now let's understand how the Saga works. Okay, so for this particular logic, just I will go with the presentation, okay, of Saga, and then we'll move forward, and then we will understand that how the Saga will work. Okay. So just I will go with the official site first. Yeah. So basically, when it comes to a Redux, okay. So these are the things which we are going to see it over here, like say, add async operations, async workflow, async creators. Okay, there are many things are there which we are going to use it over here. But I just want to show you that how the Saga works basically. So basically, Saga acts like a middleware, okay, in the programming. And in the Saga, there are concepts are there of Saga. Okay, let me go with those concepts over here. That what Saga's concepts are. So there are three major concepts are there of Saga: Watcher Saga, Worker Saga, and Root Saga. So just I will write it over here. So we have three important part in Saga: Watcher Saga, Worker Saga, and Root Saga. Now, amongst them, this Watcher Saga, sorry, yes. Amongst them, we have a different methods which we use in this particular location. So likewise, this Root Saga use a method called as a all, which actually needs the array. Okay, these all methods are generator methods. Okay, whatever we are currently looking at. Okay, first step. Second, in Worker Saga, we use a method like call and put. Call method is used. Call method is used to get or to call a API. And put method is used to update Redux. So it's like a dispatch. Okay. And then after that, this Worker Saga, sorry, this Watcher Saga has a method called as a take latest. Latest. So we have this method. So whenever you are working with this logic, okay, you need to keep in mind regarding this method. Now this Worker Saga is divided into two parts. One is called as a handler and one is called as a service. So it is actually divided into two parts. A handler and service. These methods are available under the handler. These methods are available under the handler. And service actually has the API call. So here we use Axios or fetch method. Okay. I hope so till here it's clear. Everyone is clear?
So both are API calls. In handler also you are having a API call. In service also you are having a API call.
So basically what happens? Now I will change the word. This call will call a service. Okay. So now it is something like this. The flow is something like this. I will just go with the flow now. So the flow is something like this. How the flow is? First, a root saga get initiated. Okay, a root saga get initiated. A root saga gets initiated. This root saga has the list of watchers. This has the list of watchers. After this root saga, a watcher is there. A watcher. This watcher keeps eyes that any API has been triggered or not. And for that, it needs two things: action dot pattern name relevant. Action and pattern name, and the next it needs a handler. So then we have a handler. Their handler needs a service and a dispatch and an action. Okay. And once the service and action is called, okay. So once the service and action is called, so this service will call a API. Okay. So basically service is nothing but it's a API. Okay. Yeah, so this is the flow is there. We have root saga, list is there. Then we have watcher, where we have the action dot patterns, that is action dot name of patterns. Handler, and we have the handler. So this handler provides a service or action. Okay. Yeah. So I hope so till here it's clear. Any question, any query?
Without root saga, not possible fetch the API.
Yeah, can you repeat it again?
If I want to use API without using
Your
root
voice is
saga,
not clear for me. Can you just be a bit loud, a bit clear?
can we use API without using root saga?
Yeah, we can use without using root saga. Actually, root saga is a function, okay, which we need to initiate so that we can start the API service via saga.
So
If
what
you
is
want
the
to use it,
benefits of using root saga?
sorry.
What is the benefits of using root saga function?
So see, root saga is having a list of watchers. Okay, you can assume it like, let's say that in your mobile phone there are multiple apps are there, right? And let's say
Okay.
that you have got a notification from LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So you get those all notifications, right? So
Okay.
you can just assume that someone is who is listener is there, who actually listens those notification, right? If you turn off the notification, you won't get the notification because the listener is off. In the same way, root saga is a listener, okay, who listens. Sorry, root saga is an area where you can just say that set of notifications are stored, and those set of notification listeners are stored, and that load notification listener is nothing but a watcher for us. So that watcher keeps eyes that any pattern is being changed or not, or is sorry, if any pattern is a trigger or not. As soon as a pattern is triggered, okay, it runs the handler. Then that handler runs the service. Okay, and then the service runs an API. So if you don't want to use root saga, then you need to use that method, which is called the all method somewhere else. Okay. But
Okay.
like the flow is something like this, which we have. And in official documentation also, it is suggested to go with the same flow to implement the root saga.
Okay.
Okay. Only the thing is that here I have created separate two parts of worker, that is handler and service. So that it's become easy to understand it bit more.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, any more question?
In this watcher, when you are saying action is a pattern name, pattern name as in it will take a regex expression, right? Or we
No, no, no,
define a
no, no, no.
pattern name and define a regex with it.
No, the pattern name is auto-generated. Okay,
Auto
which
generated.
a pattern name is actually action type.
Okay.
So action type. So we have learned one thing, that is action has two parts. Okay, action has a type and a payload. Okay, the type is nothing but it's a pattern of action. So what is exactly the pattern name is? Okay, or sorry, what is the action name is? So that action name is actually logically string. It's a string which help us to understand that okay, it was triggered over here. Okay,
Okay. And this action is this action name. This is custom string, custom definition, right? We
which
give a
one? Which
custom,
one? Which one?
this action type that you are saying. This
It
is
is generated with the help of combination of slice name and reducer name.
auto generated then.
So we automatically it gets generated. You don't need to generate. It's actually available in your Redux toolkit. Okay. So let me explain you in this practical way now. Okay. So that it becomes very easy to understand. Now, how the flow is, try to understand again from this one. Try to understand. React request to Redux. Okay. Who makes a first request? React makes a first request to Redux. Then React makes a first request to Redux. Then Redux sends or it runs a, like Redux middleware will get run. That is Redux Saga. Then it will hit to the server. In back, you will get a response. After getting the response, the data will get stored in the Redux, and then you will get a reflection on the React page. This is the entire process what we have. Okay. And
Okay.
just a minute. Okay. So now let's implement this entire process. Okay. Just keep your eyes on this structure. Okay. The similar flow we are going to have it over here. The blue one. So let's create the structure. Now in the Redux, we will create 4 folders. Okay. First is going to be a handler. Second is going to be a watcher. Third folder we are going to create, sorry, third folder we are going to create is service. Fourth folder we are going to, like we don't need fourth folder, but we will create one file under the Redux Saga, which is called as a root saga. .jsx. Okay. So let's start it from the beginning. Let's say that I want to call a API, which is the user's API. So you will see one thing that if I go to my terminal, if I go to my terminal, this is my API which I have. So let's copy this API. Okay. And I'm just going to go with the service over here. So under this service, I'll create one file that is called the users.service.jsx, where I will create a function like get user service. Okay, then I will just use Axios. So I will just say let URL. So I will just call the base URL. And plus, just I will say users over here. So this base URL will be this part, and then my API will be, this is my endpoint. So I will just say return Axios .get, in which I will pass the URL. And we will export this function. See, my API has been successfully created by me. Okay, we have just created separate service, so it is done. Now I want to call this one. I just want to call this one. So what we will do, we will go to the Redux first. Under the Redux, just we will create a users.slice.js. Okay. In this, I will just say const users slice. Just I will say create slice. We'll use a name as user slice. We will use the initial state. So my initial state is going to be users. This is what I want to add it over here. This is what I will add it over here. Okay. Yes. Yeah, now we will move towards the next point. So here, the next thing is going to be, we will create a reducer. Now try to understand. See, if you go to our chart, what it says, who makes a first request? Who makes a first request? And to whom it makes?
React will make it the first request.
Redux, right?
Yes.
So this is done by using dispatch, right? So the request will be get users. This is going to be a request which actually, this is actually a reducer, okay? But we will not do anything in this. This is going to be a one which Redux will make a request. So here just I will change the name like list. Let me save this. And just I will say export default user slice. Okay. And then the next is going to be, just I will say, I also want to export user actions. If I use control space, you will see that this is the one which we have. Now the next step, we'll just go to the store. Here just I will say users. Dot reducer. Okay. Now the next. Now we will move towards the next thing. So the next is going to be So the next is going to be, now I will save this code, okay? First of all, we save, we will go to the output. This is my browser, right? And now if I go to the code, you will see that I am having users with it. It works successfully. Now the next is I will just go to the users in my project under the components. And just I will say that I just want to call a use effect over here. I just want to run it on page load only once. So the next step is going to be, we will use a dispatch over here. So for that, I will just say let dispatch. And now just I will say that dispatch get users. So from slice I will use and I will run this. So see, as soon as this runs, okay, this runs, we will create one watcher who will keep the eye on this particular action. We will create one watcher who will keep the eye on this one because we need to call that API. So I will go to the watcher and I will just say users dot watcher dot JSX. And here I will create a function. This function will be a generator function, like this will be get users watcher. Okay, and we will use a method called the tech latest, which I will get it from React Saga / effects. And this needs two things. So see, it needs the action pattern. So our action pattern is, you don't need to write it hard code. It's very simple. Just I will say get users. So I will import that one and dot type I will use. So see, dot type will automatically give me that action pattern. See, so it is auto-generated. You don't need to create it over here. And the second, it needs a function. That is a worker. It needs a worker. So to get that worker, we will just go to the handler. And under the handler, just I will create users.handler.jsx. And then again, I will create a function called the handler function. So get user handler. Which will actually, this is going to be a generator function. Now, I have already told you guys that basically this will use two APIs. Sorry, two functions. A call function and a put function. Call will call a service. So let's call a service over here. So I'll just say call. In this, I need to handle a service. So my service is created under the service one, which is get user service. So I will go to the handler. Just I will pass this as a definition. And now I'll use a yield keyword. Because we are using generator function, I will just say this will give me a response. And from this response, I will get a data. I will get a data over here. Okay. So just we will wait for we'll just take a small 5 minutes of break. And after the break, we will continue with the part. Okay. So let's take a break, guys. Okay, let's resume it back now. Just I will share my screen, so please inform me once it is visible. Yeah, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So till now we have just completed with the service. Okay. And we have just generated a service. After the service generation, we have created one more scenario. That was we have just created a slice. In slice, we have just created a reducer action. That action was called in my users post. Okay, over here. Sorry, users here. Now this action, as soon as this action will run, so to get a trigger of this action, we have created a watcher. Now here, the first thing we need action pattern that was added. The second parameter, we need a worker, that is a handler. So here we have created a handler. Under the handler, we have called a service, and we get a response in Axios under which we have the data property. So then just I will use console.log to print this data so that we will just do the stuff till here, then we'll move forward. So I will just say export this. Then I will go to the watcher, and in watcher, just I will say get user handler. This is the one which I need. Don't run these functions, okay? Just we need a definition. Again, I will just say export. So now this is the watcher we have. So here we will go under the root saga, and I will create a function called the root saga. Okay. So once we create a function of root saga, so here just I will say let watchers, and just I will use an array under which I will just pass this method and I will run it. Let's import it. So I think so. I just missed the spell of watcher. Yeah. And then we will use all, which will need a watchers. And this will be a yield I will use. The reason is that this saga is also a generator function, root saga. And then we will export it over here as a default. Okay. So, but the problem is still here is we have not connected our project or the root saga to this store. So to do that one, we will just say that I want to import a create saga over here. Okay, from the Redux saga. Then we will just say const saga middleware, and we will create a middleware over here by using this method called the create middleware. Then the next parameter we have that is called the middleware, where we will just say get default middleware, and then we will use a method called as a default get default middleware dot configure. And the last thing we need to do is just I will say saga middleware dot run, and we will run the root saga. Okay, we will just run that one. So now if I refresh the page, if I go to the inspect, let me see that what we are missing with. So it says that run saga, it's not run. Yeah. So if I refresh the page, and if I just go to the network, okay. So till now we have not called any file over here. Okay, if I refresh the page, just I will say XHR. So you'll see any API is not being called. So let's see that why it is not being called. Okay, so I will go to the users. Under the user, I have run the dispatch where we have just used this one. So first I will use a console.log to check over here. Working. So you will see it says it's working. It's working very perfect. Okay. Then the next step, just I need to check one thing. whether I have done any mistake or not. Yeah, no. We have done it perfectly. So, so the next is just I will check whether the initialization is happened or not. So just I will say console.log root saga. So you will see it work. Okay. So I will go to this watcher and just I will say, yeah, I just missed to use yield over here. So that's why it was not working. So now if I just go to the watcher, I will just say console.log watcher get user watcher and let's me refresh the page. So we have used yield over here. Take latest is used by us. We will go to the handler. In this handler, we are using yield. Okay, just I'll say console.log. Just I will say this is my handler. If I refresh the page, actually my watcher is not running. Okay. So I need to understand that why it is not running. So let me just check it over here. The problem is that the method is wrongly called. It must be the Redux Saga effect. Okay. I have called it from the Axios. That's why. And you will say as soon as I refresh the page, my root saga was initialized. After that, watcher was initialized. Then working was working. Working means my like Redux, sorry, React. As soon as the component get mount, then the handler will run because watcher will get triggered due to that. Okay, and then you will able to see that the API was called, and this is my API. So now this API is called in the watcher, sorry, in the handler. Now I need to store this API. So I will go to the slice. Under the slice, we will just use one more like save users, in which I will have the state. And I will get action. Under this state and action, we will just say that I just want to write a logic. So my logic is whatever my state list is, I just want to assign it to the action dot payload. Okay. So this is the step over here. And just I will use alert lists user save. This is the alert which I want to give. So here simply I will go to the handler and just I will say, I will just use a put method. I will just use a put method. So in this put method, we just need to use save user. I have not exported it, right? So as a action. So I need to export it. So I will go to the handler and just I will say save user. And in this action, just I will run the data. So see, it's like a dispatch only. Just I will use yield keyword and I will save it. So as soon as I refresh the page, see it says user saved. It means that it's working perfectly. So the last step is to pull the list and to print that one over here. So just I will go to the code. So see, just I will go to the Saga first. So see, I'm having list, which is under the users. So to get that list under the user, just I will say user select, use selector. Where I will just say that I will have the users and I will get a list from it. Okay. And whatever list I'm having, just I will create h1 tag. And then I will just say that there will be another list which will have li. So the list will be there. Dot map. Yes. So I'll get a single user over here as an user. So just I will say that user will have an ID and I will just print the name of the user. Let me save this. So now you will see that if I just go to the code, see it says user saved, and this is what the list time have. So now see if I refresh the page, it works perfect. See, my API is called successfully. Okay, so how we have done it? So pretty simple way. The very first we have created the app.jsx under which I have added the routing. My default routing is users routing. So under the user, we have used a use effect where we have called one dispatch that was get user action. So that was created by us under this slice. This slice we have attached to the store. Okay, and the store is attached to the main.jsx. So it works very perfect. Then the next step was, then the next step was, then the next step was to use. So my next step was to use a service over here. So we have created a simple service which will give me a users list. Then under the service, we are having the handler who actually calls the service. So from that, we will get a data because this is the Axios. So we get an object and in that we get a data. Then we have put method which actually saves that data. Okay, so we have created a save logic. See here it is that. Then the next was under the watcher, we have added that type. So whenever a user will get trigger from use effect, this type will get woke up and it will run the gate handler. This watcher is configured under the root saga. And this root saga was added to the store by collecting that middleware instance, creating the saga middleware. Then under the middleware, we have the callback function where we get a default middleware and we concat the default middleware is the saga middleware. And then we use a method called as a run, which runs a function. This is the entire process we have. The same logic we can use on the click of button also. There is no problem in that. Okay. And you will see it just works well without any trouble. Yes. So any question, any query till here? Yeah, anyone is having any question, any query? The saga is bit harder, okay, for some people it may be, because to understand that flow, you need to deep dive into flow. Personally, I have just segregated the code in small part also. So it's very easy to understand it. But still, if you have any question, you can just ask. Yes, guys. Any question, any query? Yeah, anyone has any question? Any question, any query, you can just ask me. Yes. Any question? Any query?
I am clear till now, but I think this entire flow for this saga, I need to go over once more. I mean, I need to have a hands on.
Yeah, definitely. Only the thing is that just keep this particular keep this particular structure in your mind, okay? Because this is something which is pretty important. This is only the way that how the saga works.
What are the common errors or issues that I can face when
Ah.
I am implementing this one?
Yes. Yes. What are the common errors? The very first is like when you try to import the methods. Okay. So when we try to auto import the method, these methods are already available in other frameworks and libraries also. So you need to be a bit aware that like how I was just got stuck in that, because in my root saga we use all method. This all is also available under the Axios. So this is the import issue which you may face. Second issue is that many people, what they do, they don't run this watcher like this. This is the very common problem which many people forget with. Because everywhere we need to run a definition or we need to pass as a function as a definition. But there we need to run that one. That was the second case. Third case is that your service may be not available. Now, what happens many of the time, your API may get an issue. So how to generate a error management logic? So it's pretty simple. What we can do here, just I can use a try catch block surrounding to this. Just I will say try this code. Even we can throw the code from here also if I get any true or false. And if I get any error, okay, I will say alert server error. Then now we will generate one server error. How? So for that, we will go to our terminal and I will close this program. So now if I just go to the output and if I try to refresh the page, see, it gives me server error. Now the question is that how we can handle these errors on our page itself. How we can manage these errors. How to work with these errors. So the answer is pretty simple. What we will do, if I get such a kind of errors, either you can handle it by using the same slice or you can just create an error slice, a different one. Okay. So those kind of logic you can build it over here. It's as simple as that. How? So I will create a separate slice, okay, which will actually handle my errors. So here I will create a slice, one more slice under the Redux. My slice name will be error.slice.js. Then I will just say const error slice. Just I will say create a slice. And just I will use the same pattern over here. So by default, my error will be this one, but I will not write it like this. I will just say users. So there might be different error might be there of users, right? So I will just say user error. Okay, now in this, just I will use a null as a default. Okay, so one error is of user error. So just I will say set user error. So whatever the error is going to be, I will set that one. Okay, and a clear user error, just I will set it as a null. So that is what I will just do it over here. Now the next thing. For this, we will also create one simple handler over here. Okay, so we will just create that one. Or we will just create a HOC, that is higher order component, which will actually give me all the ways which I want to do it over here. So we can use any other way, okay? We can use a wrapper component, anything we can do. That is something what we are just going to have it over here. We will try to understand how to implement it. Okay. So just I will say that export default, and then I will just use this one also. So now I will just go to the my store. Under the store, I will just say errors. And just I will use the error slice dot reducer. So I will have the error slice. Now, if I just go to the code, you will see that this is what the error slice I'm having. Okay, now for handling the errors, you can use different kinds of pop-ups or library, or you can create it self also. Now, as we don't have that much time period to explain all the concepts, so what I'm just going to do, just I will use one built-in pop-up library, okay, which is called as Sweet Alerts. Okay, so Sweet Alert is a library which I'm just going to use it over. And that version I'm just going to use the second version. So the normal looks like this. And you might have seen in IRCTC side. This is what they have, okay? The same one they are using. So we'll go to the installation process. It's pretty simple. We need to install it in this way. So here we will go with the terminal again. Just I will say that I need to install this one. So I will just say paste it over here. Now once the Sweet Alert is added, just I will kill the terminal. Next step is they are just saying that you just need to use this one, import. So I will create a alert that is error component, separate component. So just I will say error as a separate component. I will just say React function component with export. I will use this one, okay? And then we will use this method over here. Okay, so this is the one which we will use it over here. Simple and sober. Okay. So just I can write as much as methods I want to do. So just I will say use effect. And in this, just I will call the error. So I will just say let. So first I will say use selector. Okay, so I will just say that there is going to be a state which will give me state dot error. It's a plural. And here I will get an object where I will get a user's error. Let me say it. So just I will say that. Just I will say that. Run this one when the user error gets changed. And in this, just I will say user error will get changed. Okay. So just I will check for one thing that if the user error is there, then we will print our logic. This one. So whatever my user error is, that I will print it over here. And I don't want to write any logic over here, so just I'll use empty angle bracket. This is the one which I'm just going to add it in my layout. Here. Okay. Now it's pretty simple. So as soon as we will get the error, okay, I just want to trigger that error. So I will go to the slice, error slice. State. Okay. And this is going to be like, say, set a user error. So I will go to the handler and here just I will say yield put okay, this is the one which I will have. And in which I will just pass the message like server error. Try again. So now you will see that if I refresh the page and if I go to the code, this will give me pretty code errors. Okay, we will just figure it out. So object is not valid, okay, as a JSON child. Okay, we just need to check that what is the problem. So here I'm getting that error. Let me just figure it out. So first I'll go to the error.jsx. So first I will go to the error slice dot payload dot error is there. Let me just check whether the error is null. Um, so just I need to check errors are here. Okay, I'm just using error as a slice. So just I will say if I go to the error dot error component, that error will give me a user error. If the user is there, user error is there, then it works. Object of error, okay. If it means that render collection of children is array. Okay, fine. So let me just figure it out. First of all, I will commit the handler, okay. Let me check here, I'm getting the error. No, this error is not over here. Component stack error, okay. Layout.jsx is at layout. So I'm having some error in my layout. I need to import it actually. I will refresh the page. Create is not defined, okay. Somewhere I'm having this error, okay. Error dot handler. Error boundary, okay. Create is not a function. So let me just check where I'm just missing with this. Where exactly I'm having this issue. Create is not a function. Here actually the components white. Create is not a function, okay. Layout.jsx, line number 9. There's the error 1. Here just under the layout. Refresh the page, still I'm getting that one. In this component, actually, I'm getting that error. Okay, we will fix it out.
I think that SWA library that we have imported, I think that is.
No, it's there actually. Let me commit it. Is that something is going wrong? Okay, let me just fix it out.
Do we need to import in routing?
No, because it is already in layout, so we don't need to be worried about it. I'm so sorry, guys. I've done a small mistake actually. Okay, I'm so sorry. The things are correct. Okay, I just missed to pass a function as a parameter. That was the thing which I've just missed it over here. Okay. This is the function definition. So we have started our internal function over here. And this is the if condition we have. And the curly bracket. Now it will work. So error in my layout also, I will just use a error word only. Let me refresh the page. Yeah, now it will give me the error. That's perfect. So we have just checked whether it is there or not. So let me just check whether it is there. So yeah, now it will work perfectly. So we just need to go to the handler, and here I just need to add this one. So you will see I'm getting that error. Okay, error, server error, try again. Okay, simple and sober. So it's working perfect. Okay, but once this is done, I just need to make it as a null. So what I will do for this, I will just go to that error controller, sorry, error component, and just I will say that whenever in this we have a then method. So this fire is a promise method, we get a then after it. So in this, we can just say that whenever the user will done with this, okay, just I will use a use dispatch. Let dispatch, and then I will just say dispatch clear error. Okay, this is the one which I want. So it will run, and it was. You see, again it is null. So as soon as I refresh the page, I will get an error because this is what the error is. Okay, my server is being connection refused there. You can add any message to it. And this is the power of it. Okay. Sorry. So it is the power of that one. So whenever we refresh the page, okay, if I get an error, we can just handle the errors for you. So you can just add retry. So this is something which now as an organization, I don't know that exactly what type of pop-ups you guys are using it. But like this is something what we have, okay, with this. So it has many features are there. We can add it, okay, with the help of the one. And there are several code are there, okay. This is something which is very commonly used by many organizations. And it has a great support for React, Vue, and Angular also, okay. So this is how error handling also can be done by you. Now, one more thing is that we have one concept which is called as Axios interceptors. So interceptors is a way, okay, by which you can configure the Axios. That let's say that when you are logged in, you want to send a header, okay, for the specific request. So you can add Axios.interceptors, okay, and it has a method called the use. So when you make a request, you can just set some configuration. If they are not there, you can just send an error or you can generate an error. In the same way, when you get a response, you can just check for errors also. So you can just pre-configure them, okay? And they will work very perfectly over here. Okay, they will work very perfectly over here. So we have the concept called the interceptors. Also, like Axios also has one more concept, like say Axios create like set base URL. Okay, so we have this one more concept is there. So like if you don't need to set a base URL everywhere, you can just set it in the Axios. Okay, that is what the Axios configure option is. So if I just say that Axios or default base URL, okay, or I can just create an instance over here. Also, we can add authorization tokens also to it. Okay, we can use them, and then I can just use Axios.default.base URL. So whatever the base URL I'm using, I can just use that one, which is a pretty awesome thing Axios has with it. Okay. So these are the way which you can just set to the Axios and it will work perfectly. So now what I'm just going to do, just I will go to ChatGPT for this, okay? And just I will ask one question to it, like let me give Yeah. Create an example for with API call. So now it will just give me the Axios example. Okay. So here you can see that Axios base URL is added. So see guys, you don't need to add that URL prefix URL again and again. Why? Because due to this base URL, Axios will automatically detect it. And a pretty awesome thing. Okay. You can just use that one with respect to that one. Okay. So this is the best practice which you can just do. And I will highly recommend to go with the official documentation of Axios. You can work on the Axios over there. Okay. Yes. So till here, any question, any query? Everyone is clear with the Saga concepts? Error handling in Saga and how you can add more configuration to the Axios.
Clear till now.
Yeah, so this is something which is the concept we have seen right now. Okay, there are many scenarios are there which you can just perform. Now we will go with one more functionality. Okay, so first I will just initiate the Axios part so that project will be finely worked. Yeah. So here under the service, I will just say that Axios.default.base URL, and this is what the URL I'm having. So I will go remove the config one, and I will just pull this one over here. So I don't need this config folder also. Okay, I will simply remove that one. And simply just will go to the service. Under the service, just I will use this as a tuple. Okay, now we don't need this one. And also here also we don't need this URL. So directly I can just use users. That's it. So this will ultimately give me that output. Okay, and this is something which is pretty simple way we can do this stuff. Okay, now let's move toward the next part. Okay, so here we have seen that how to pull the data, but what if I click on the user and then I want to post over here? Okay, now I will just start the server over here. So let me start the server. Let me refresh the page. See, it's working. Okay, we will just use auto close pop-up. Okay, that will give me the users list is done. So here under the suite alerts, we have some auto close also. So we will use a timeout over here. Yeah, it's there. Okay, so we have the timer. Just I will use that one. So this is the method which I will use. Okay, under the suite alerts, or there is no need to use it. Okay, forget it. So now how to call the data? Okay, because we have the list with us, and this is the list. So as soon as I click on this user, I just want the post of that user. which I will print it below him. Okay, that is what I just want to do it over. So how I will call it? It's pretty awesome thing which we are going to do. So let me just do that one. But we will just go to the next page, okay? That is going to be the user post page where we are going to navigate it. So the very first, just we will go to the code, and here just I will go under the users list is there, where I will create, just I will close everything now. Then I will just go to the users, and here we will use a on-click method. Under the on-click method, we will just use a dispatch. In this dispatch, we'll pass an action. So my action, again, I will go to the users, and here I will just say that get post list by user ID. Okay, this is what I am just going to use it over here. Now, under this post list, just I'm going to pass it over here. Okay, just I'm going to pass it over here. So the next step is going to be, we will just use this function over here. Okay, no, we will not do it like this. Just I will navigate to the post list first, because that is what I just want to do it. So just I will say use navigate, or you can use anchor tag also, but I will just use navigate because I want to make a click operation over here. So I will just say navigate. And we will go to the navigate, and just I will say this is going to be the one. So I will just say I will go to the app.jsx, and here we have users post. So just I will say user post. On click, and we will just check whether it is working or not. So just I'll do one thing, that when I will hover on the LI, so I'll just say that there's an index is there. So there's going to be like another list, the LI. When I hover on it, I just want text decoration underline. And text must be, this color must be green. And cursor must be pointer. So you will see as soon as I hover mouse, it just works well. So as soon as I click on this, so I'm just getting the users post, you see. But every time when I go to the next page, I'm just getting that list again. I don't want it like this. So once the list is grabbed, I just don't want to call this again. So here I can just check one thing, that if the list dot length is not equals to 0. In that case, we will just call this one. Okay, now every time it will not get called. So at the first attempt, it will get called. So at first attempt, it will be get called. Now I don't need that alert also. So I'll go to the slice. I will remove that alert. So see, and when I go forward, if I go back, it doesn't call that API again. We can check that thing over here. See, only once the API was called. See? So it will just say get users and then save user is there. Now when I go to the next, I just want to provide the ID over here. So now we know that how to pass the ID, right? So we can just say, we can just use slash, so just say plus users dot ID. And here Just I will go to the app.json. I will just say slash user ID. This is going to be my variable, which I will get under the users post. So I will just say use params. Then we just select params. Okay, and now I will just say use effect. Where I will get arrow function. Second parameter is going to be whenever the params get changed. Okay, so now we can call a list. Again, I will just go to the slice. This is the user ID. So just I will click on the slice over here. So just I will go to the users post. And here I will call that one. Now I know that under the params, I will get user ID. So this is the action which I need to pass it. So I will just say use dispatch. This will give me a dispatch. Let just I will say dispatch. This is the action which I will call. I'm not getting suggestion. The reason is that it is not exported by me as action. Just I will simply call it. So just I will call it. And here I will pass that ID, guys. So it's going to be a number. So I will just say number as user ID. So this is the watcher I need to create for one. So again, I will go to the code. So I will just copy the similar logic, okay? Only the thing is, this is going to be the user's watcher. This is going to be user post. User get post by user ID. Watcher. And this is the pattern which I need. So here we will have a handler also. Get post by user ID handler. So this is the handler which I will create under the user. Just I can call a similar logic over here. Okay, this is the function which I have. So if I go to the watcher now, I can just use control space. See, it is being called. This is the function which I need in Saga. So I will go to the root Saga, and here next to the comma, just I will import it. The next step is going to be, here we need a service. My service is going to be get user by ID. This is the service we need. Okay, so I will not use this put, but I will use console.log data. Just I will print that data. So this is the function which I want. Okay, this is the function which I want. So I'll go to the service and I will create a function. And I will get a user ID over here. Then we will just say that I just want to get a post user ID in my user ID. Now question is that how I will get this ID, because handler doesn't have this ID. Handler doesn't have this ID. So to get this ID, what happens, guys? Try to understand. As soon as we pass any parameter in this action, okay, this data or this action we can just collect, or we will be able to collect it over here under the handler. And this handler gives us a payload. So just I will say the user ID, I will get it from the payload. So if I just use console.log and if I try to print it, you will see that it will give me that one. So see, if I click on it, it will give me some error. Don't worry about it. So params is not defined. Okay. I just missed that one, I think so. ID. Okay, see, we are getting an error. So I'm getting undefined over here, okay? Let me check that why I'm getting undefined. The reason is that we are having this post one. Okay, let me check the post one is there or not. Yeah, see, we are having this one over here. Okay, so this has been passed under the dispatch. So my watcher is there. So it's having that list. This is my handler. So just I will say I will get action. So I will first of all I will try to print the action. Let me check what I get it over here. See, I'm getting dot payload as one. Okay, so just I will say that this action dot payload in itself is a user ID. Now, if I save this, you will see that we are getting one over here. Now, simply the next step which I'm just going to do is to pass this one other parameter. Now, try to understand. This is a call method. In JavaScript, we have one more method called the call method. It is the same scenario. So we will pass a first parameter as a function definition. Second is going to be the argument of it. So I just say user underscore ID. And now you will be able to see that if I refresh the page, okay, let me just go with this one. So I will import this one first one. So you will see if I refresh the page, I will get all the posts associated to that user. See, ID is one user ID. If I go back and if I click on any other user, I will get the list of it. See? User ID is 9. So this is the way how simply you can send a request data to the server also. Because now our server can accept the ID. This is the way how we can submit the form, receive the data, check the login, everything over here. Okay. Yes. So till here, any question, any query? So now I know that like the session was a bit overhead, okay, for some candidates. But like once you practice the sessions, it will be a bit clear. In the next session, the first 30 minutes we will keep for the talk, okay? A general talk. And then we will start our next topic. Okay. So let's have a break, guys. If you have any question, please ask. Okay, I will extend the session for more 5 minutes.
I've actually related to Visual Studio Code. You are using some extension that is showing autocomplete.
Yeah, so currently Copilot was installed, okay, over here. Just I'm using the same one.
Okay.
Yeah, but like previously the Copilot was, it's a free version I'm using. Yeah, but I will highly suggest you that, like, see, I'm using suggestion because I need to explain you guys the things, okay? But I will suggest that don't use the suggestions because it makes you handicap, okay, for writing some code. As a beginner, in industry or on the expert level, you can do that one. There's no problem. Okay. Any other question? Guys, I will highly recommend to go with the feedback form. Many candidates are not giving feedback. I don't know why it is so. So please go with the feedback, okay? Because every day's feedback is very necessary for personally, for me also, because we just get the point, okay, which actually provide us a way to get a next batch. Okay. So thank you. Yes, guys. Any question, any query, or shall we wind up the session?
Can you share the code on a Git?
Yeah,
This-
yeah, I will
this-
share the code, okay, on the Git itself. So what I will do, just I will share this link with the team, okay?
Okay.
They will share with you because like currently my configurations are not going well for Git right now. So I just need to check it from mine. Yes, guys. So on this note, I will stop the session and thank you so much for joining the session. Please go with the feedback form and kindly provide your feedback. Thanks a lot and have a great day, guys.